Salute! Yes, better, better. Hey, way better.
Welcome back to the channel. This is Marcus Sniffles here to talk about a disappointing loss that the Colts had this week. The Colts didn't play this week, you might ask. Yeah, we didn't play, and we still ended up losing. How do you lose in the bye week? Let's talk about it.
Here, Indiana move. We from Indiana, we from Indiana move. I'm an Indiana move.
The ball, there's a fumble. Who's got it? The officials say the Colts do. Great team win, baby. Drops it way downfield, intercepted, coming forward and making the INT for the Colts in the back end to see the Colts win Super Bowl.
Hey, win on three. 1, 2, 3, win!
Before we get started, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 900 subscribers before the end of the season. We're very close to 870. So if we can keep running those numbers up, I would greatly appreciate it. Just hit that sub button, like the video, and let's talk about a disappointing week for the Colts. So before the bye week, the Colts were number 2 in the entire AFC and obviously leading the AFC South by a pretty large margin. And in the last video, we talked about how for the Colts to win this week, we needed the Jaguars to lose. We needed the Texans to lose. We needed the Patriots to lose. None of those things happened. So first off, I watched the Jaguars-Chargers game, and the Jaguars blew the Chargers out of the water. Like, that game wasn't even remotely close. The Jaguars look, I don't want to say they look terrifying, but they look like a really good team, and their record does not reflect how good that team is, especially playing in Jacksonville. They tend to look like a totally different team. I don't know where that team has been all year. Maybe Travis Hunter was weighing them down, but that team looks incredible if you believe that the Chargers are any good. So that kind of closes the gap between the Colts and the Jaguars. And then we go to the Texans and the Titans. Now, the Titans, for the most part, had a lead for most of that game, but they were also playing Davis Mills because C.J. Stroud was hurt with a concussion. And the Texans were still able to win, keeping their season alive for the most part. They're like 5-5 now. They're still in the playoff hunt, and there's no reason for them to hang up the season and just call it quits. They still have something to play for. They can still technically get into the playoffs. Now, winning the division doesn't seem like it's in the cards for them at this point, and barring an epic collapse. But for the most part, they still have a lot to play for, and they can still get that wild card spot. A Titans win would have been helpful to make these next 2 divisional games against the Texans a little bit more easier, but why would anybody rely on the Titans to get a win? The next thing that happened was the Patriots blew out the New York Jets. That was to be expected. I thought it might have been a little bit closer than what it was, maybe be a little bit more competitive because it was a Thursday night. It's a divisional matchup, but unfortunately, the year that the Colts are starting to get back on track, the Patriots have seemed to have found their franchise quarterback at 23 years old who has all the physical gifts and abilities that you would want out of a rookie. Man, I wonder what that feels like. And the biggest blow that I honestly didn't see coming was the Chiefs-Broncos game. I didn't really look at the implications that that game would have on our season, but by the Broncos beating the Chiefs, the Broncos now are the number 2 seed in the AFC. So the Colts have fallen down to the 3 seed. Now, the difference between a 2 and a 3 seed, not too much difference. I guess the level of competition you play in the first round doesn't matter too much, but trying to get that number 1 seed has just got a little bit tougher when you've dropped down to the 3rd seed. And what's going to make it a little bit tougher to get more wins is now you have to play a Kansas City team that's on a 2-game losing streak. A 2-game losing streak. That's like unheard of for Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs. They lost to the Bills. They had a bye week, and then they lost to the Broncos. They don't lose after the bye week. And now now we are going to Kansas City in November, playing a desperate Kansas City team. Because technically right now, if the playoffs were to start today, the Kansas City Chiefs would not be in the playoffs. Now, fortunately for them, the playoffs do not start today, and they have a lot to play for. And obviously, this game was going to be tough regardless of if they won or not because of their record this year. But the idea that their backs are almost against the wall is going to make this game even tougher. And that Kansas City crowd is going to be unhinged. It's going to be the loudest game of the year for us. And it's going to be a tough game. And I'm excited to watch this game. But there's a lot more riding on this game than just another, November game. Another playoff push type of game. Now, with it being the Kansas City Chiefs, one of the more popular teams with, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift stuff, winning Super Bowls, always being in the playoffs, championship games, there's going to be a lot of conversation about this game coming up. Like, this is probably going to be the game of the week. And there's going to be a lot of national media pundits and talking heads and hot take people talking about this Colts team that haven't really watched this team all year. Like, and you're going to be able to tell who they are. And I just kind of want to give a message to Colts fans to not get super upset when you hear some of these national media heads talking about this team. They're not watching the Colts team. They watch Kansas City. They watch Dallas. They watch Philadelphia. They watch those games. They kind of are just looking at the box score when it comes to the Colts. They're not looking at every play, watching the flow of the game. There are some people that get on national TV and they see Sauce Gardner fall on a 2-point conversion against the Falcons. And then they go on TV and say, we gave up too much for Sauce Gardner because Sauce Gardner is not good. While not knowing that Sauce Gardner covered Drake London on 6 plays, gave up 2 catches for under 30 yards. Like, these people aren't watching all the games. They don't know as much about this Colts team as Colts fans do. And it's reasonable. That I get it. Your job is to go out there, talk about the teams that get the best ratings, and to entertain people. So just, if you haven't found that person already, hopefully it's me, but find Colts fans that make Colts content that actually watch the Colts and know what they're talking about. Whether it be someone like me or like the Locked On Colts or even the local guys that cover the team. But it's one thing to watch the national media. It's another thing to get bent out of shape when they clearly don't watch the team. Like, we know this. We know these people aren't watching the teams and breaking it down like that. They're just doing what they need to do for TV. So that's just my PSA for Colts fans going this week. You made it this far. If you have not liked the video at this point, what are you waiting for? Just like the video. Hit the like button right now. I'm talking to you. Make sure you like the video and subscribe and drop a comment. All that stuff. This is a threat. Not a threat, a warning. But it could be a threat. Just do it. And like I said, this wasn't the best week for the Colts because we went from the 2 seed down to the 3 seed, and now we're playing a more aggravated Chiefs team, a more desperate Chiefs team. And I kind of wanted to end the video on a somewhat positive note, but I don't really have so much positivity to really add to this outside of, Javarius Ward coming back, which was something that we kind of knew. But I saw an interview today with Chris Ballard. He did an interview with Mike Tice. And I was just, he didn't really say anything enlightening or whatever, just kind of the regular GM speech during a bye week, nothing super interesting. I just got to thinking about the offseason press conference that Chris Ballard had, and it got me to thinking about, where's Jalen Carlisle at? Is he good? Is he coming back this year? Because the linebackers we have like the projected depth chart for linebacker is not what we have right now. Like Jermaine Pratt was not an option at the beginning of the season. Like he got released and we were able to get him. But him and Zaire Franklin aren't the best pair. And when you look at Jalen Carly's play style and his physical abilities, he's more of that pass coverage linebacker that we could really use right about now, especially going into the home stretch. And the fact that Lou Anarumo hasn't said anything about him, Shane Steichen hasn't said anything about him. In this interview, Chris Ballard didn't say anything about him. It's like he just disappeared. And it would be great to know where he's at and if he's coming back. So that's something I've been keeping an eye on. I mean, if you know anything about him, if you're watching this, Jalen, could you let us know? Maybe drop a comment so we can kind of have some sort of expectation. Like, are you on? Like, are they gonna put him on IR? Is he even in the city? Like, where is he? And as well as I think our defense is playing, if our pass covering linebacker can come back and make an impact along with Javarius Ward, along with the addition of Sauce Gardner, then this defense will continue to get better. Now, obviously, DeForest Buckner is going to be out for a few weeks, and he might low-key miss the season. But if some of these other young guys can step up, like JT Tuimoloau, then maybe we can, tread water until Buck gets back. But yeah, Jalen Carly, like, just keep an eye out for that guy. Let's see if he's coming back or any news up with him. But that's all I got for today. Make sure you guys like and comment. Hit the subscribe button. Like I said, we're trying to get to 900 subscribers before the end of the season, which is in February, this season is going by very quickly. We're almost at the halfway mark. Or I think we are. Are we at the half? Yeah, we're pretty much past the halfway mark. So this season is going by pretty fast, and it seems to go by a little bit faster when your team is doing well. And I'll add this at the end of this video. There was a group of guys who cover the Carolina Panthers. They kind of do the same thing that I do. They're just fans that cover the team, do videos, commentary, stuff like that. And at the beginning of the season, the Panthers, I guess they lost like maybe 2 or 3 games. And keep in mind, these guys had only been doing this channel for 2 seasons. And they said after like 1 or 2 losses, they were just done. They couldn't do it anymore. And they pretty much quit doing it. And now the Panthers are like 6-4 or 6-5 and doing pretty well. I think Bryce Young had almost 500 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. And I'm curious to see if they're going to continue to not cover the team and put out, Panthers content. Or now that the team is good, they're going to come back and start putting out content because they want to cover a good team. Which, in my opinion, kind of feels bandwagon-y. Like, you're a Panthers content creator. Like, this isn't like, it's not like you were a Patriots fan and you had, expectations of winning. Like, obviously the Patriots have been winning for a very long time. They have a down period and now they seem to be back up. You're a Panthers fan. You guys have never been the standard of excellence in winning. Why did you have the expectation of being like, oh, it's too mentally draining to cover a bad team? You were a bad team when you started covering the team. What are you talking about? So I just kind of think it's a little fraudulent and a little bit fake to just be like, oh, I'm not going to cover the team if the team is losing. But now that the team is winning, I'm going to come back and cover them. Like, stay on business, dog. Like, if you don't want to cover the team, don't do it. But don't try to make it seem like, oh, I can't do it because it's too hard because the team is bad. If I'm being honest, I've been doing this channel since... Well, I've been doing Colts stuff on this channel this is my 3rd year doing it. And every season has been fun for me. Like, I have been entertained. And this team hasn't been the best. Like, this isn't me covering the Peyton Manning Colts or the Andrew Luck Colts. Like, I got here when Anthony Richardson got here as far as covering the team for YouTube. And I couldn't imagine just being like, you know what? I just don't want to do this anymore. Outside of like I physically couldn't do it or I like didn't have access to the internet, like then obviously for those reasons I wouldn't do it. But if I could physically still do this and had the ability to still do this, I don't see a place where I'm just like, I don't want to do this anymore just because the team is bad. And maybe it's just how my brain works, but when the team, I'm not wishing the team to be bad, but creatively, I find more interesting ways to talk about the team when the team is bad. And you can have a little bit more fun because it's not as serious when you're like trying to make a playoff push and win a division like we are this year. So as far as like the more funny, creative stuff, that's kind of the stuff I say for the off season and if the team was bad. But if I'm doing another PSA, if you're someone that, does any kind of content for as far as covering your team or anything that you're a fan of, like, do it because you love it. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do it because you want to get a lot of views or you want to be super popular, you want to have a bunch of people following you or all that stuff. Like, I'm not saying you don't want that stuff. Obviously that stuff is nice to have, but at the core, at the very like center of why you do this, the very first reason, whenever you cut your camera on or cut your mic on or cut your phone on, the reason you're doing this is because you love to do this. That should be the first reason. Now, the second reason could be, I want to get a lot of subscribers to my channel, or I want to get a lot of followers on TikTok, or I want to get a lot of views on Instagram. Those can be some of the other reasons. The main reason should be because you love doing it. And if you love doing it, no matter what happens, you will continue to do it because you love doing it. And I just feel like those guys they just ain't got the heart to do it. They don't got the love for the game. But we do. Me and you. So hit that subscribe button. See you next Monday. Every Monday, 7 in the morning, dropping a video. Hit the subscribe button. Go Colts.
Thanks for watching, babe. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel.